We fell from our great estate. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. This lesson basically is gonna go into the great estate that we were in. The stature of men that we were back then in the past, beginning with Adam, all the way down to our forefathers, and to show you that we fell as a people, as a nation, from that greatness. Now, when you go back to the beginning, when the Most High first created Adam and the Adamites and all the people that were created at the time, he chose a certain line of men, and he chose one particular man among the Adamites to make him great. Which, when you understand reincarnation, you understand that man, that one Adam that stood out above all others, was Yahweh Shai in the reincarnation. So let's start off there. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and 16 and 17. It says, "And the Lord power commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat." Now this is dealing with all the trees that were in the garden that had fruit on them, that had anything that grew on them. You could eat of any of those trees. Now this is a commandment that the Most High was laying down to Adam so that he wouldn't trespass the Most High's laws. It says, "But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die." So basically, the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the knowledge of wickedness. Because you have both. You have the knowledge of truth, and you have the knowledge of wickedness. And the Lord taught us both. During this time, the Most High had a purpose and a plan. But at this time, he told Adam not to do it. And when Adam transgressed his law that he gave him, then the Most High started breaking Adam down from that great estate that he was in. Because men would live. That's why when you look at the ages of man during the time of Adam, they lived 900, 800, 700 years, no problem. Because the perfect time frame for a body to live on the earth in a extraterrestrial spiritual power type body is about 1,000 years. That's why men live so long. But then when Adam transgressed the law of the Most High, now you have today what you have today. It went from men living to be almost 1,000 years old to living 120 years. And then it being broken down from that point to 70 years, and if by reason of strength, 80. And that's as far as people would live. Now you have certain exceptions of certain people that live to be 100, a little past 100, but that's not in every case. Most, especially among most Jakes, they die between the ages of 50, 65, 70. And there's some that do live longer than that, but that's about the average age. All right, so nevertheless, we're going to read how Adam broke that commandment. Genesis 3 and 6. "And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food," now this is talking about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now notice that the serpent didn't go to Adam, the man, because Adam would have told him, no, we ain't supposed to eat that, and Adam wouldn't have eaten of it. So he went to the woman, which is the weaker vessel, and deceived her into eating the tree. And then when she ate of the tree and she partook of that wickedness, she saw the power. That's why these international bankers are so proud, because they operating on the left hand side, and they have that power, and they see what that power can do. So when she saw that, she gave it to Adam. It says, "And that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open." See, and they knew that they were naked, because they had gone off. They broke the laws. That's what I mean by naked. "And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons." Now they pretty much just mingled in among the nations and the things that they were learning. That's why they took on fig leaves and made aprons. It says, and they heard the voice of the Lord power walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord power amongst the trees of the garden. Why? Because they had sinned. They went off. The Lord power called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. See? So basically he was hiding because he went off. He had committed sin. So when the Most High's voice came around, he got nervous because he knew that he had gone off. So the Most High said, he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? So the Lord is asking Adam a question. And he said, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. So he basically passed the buck, which really, that's really what happened. And unto Adam he said, now this is jumping down to the 17th verse. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. And that's why at one time you didn't have to till the ground. The ground has a dew that comes up out of it, and it causes the fruit to regenerate, and come back, and nobody would have to till it. Now you have to till it, and you have to put different types of stuff in there, pesticides and all different types of stuff into the soil to make it fertile, because it's been cursed from its natural state. So even the earth fell from its great stature that it had. It says, thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. Meaning you're gonna get sick, you're gonna fall apart, you're gonna have to take herbs to heal yourself. It says, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So it really wasn't supposed to be that way, but when Adam went off, that's what took place. He basically started to die, as a mortal man. All right. So this is what happened. So now that Adam did that, this is basically what happened in turn. Romans 5:12. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. For unto the law sin was in the world, but sin is not impotent when there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned, after the similitude of Adam's transgression, who is a figure of him that was to come. So basically, from that point on, we started falling from that great estate. So you got to understand, when you look at the world today and how we are today, we basically we're frail compared to what we used to be. Even the strongest man on earth is frail in comparison to our forefathers and the greatness that they had, and the power and the spiritual power, because the strength that man has today is not spiritual, it's physical. But the strength that men had back then was spiritual. Even though it was physical also, it was spiritual in the sense of because they were closer to the Most High than they are today. So when Adam did that, basically that's what caused us to fall. And in that line of Adam, you had Adam, Seth, and then Enos, and the rest of the chosen line of the sons of the Most High. They started falling from that great stature. And that's why when you read Genesis, the 5th chapter, it gives you the time, the length of years that they lived, but then it started being cut down. And that's where you come to the point of this, what they call the Nephilim, or the giants, as the scriptures call it, and how they fell from that great stature that they had. All right. Now this is 2 Ezra chapter 3, verse 4. O Lord, who bearest rule, thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people, and gave us a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, because the Most High eventually blew the breath of life into Adam, and he opened up Adam's understanding, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made a living before thee. So he understood, the Lord gave him commandments, he gave him dominion over the animals. So he made him higher than anything that was out there, any creature that was created, even other men. And thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, see, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointedst death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. For the first Adam, now this is the 21st verse, for the first Adam bearing a wicked heart transgressed and was overcome. And so be all they that are born of him. Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still. So that's why you can't, even though you tried to do the right thing, you fall short. Why? Because we're in these bodies. And these bodies are those chains of darkness. You know, these bodies will keep you from doing the right thing. You know, but that doesn't mean that we just go ahead and do the wrong thing anyway. You know, because you fight. You know, you pray, fight. You know, to do the right thing. But every once in a while you go off. You know why? Because we're still in this wicked flesh, and as long as we're still in this wicked flesh, we're subject to go off. You know, so this is what's happening. You know, men went from being righteous, even though you have righteous men that came after Adam, you know, like Noah, Abraham, and others, you know, that curse was still on them. Now, this is 2 Ezra chapter 4, verse 30. For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness has it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth unto the time of the threshing come? All right, and that's talking about the day of judgment. Sirach 49 and 16. Sem and Seth were in great honor among men. See, and that's what you have to understand. That when the scriptures speak about giants or the Nephilim, it was talking about being great in stature, not stature as far as height, but stature as far as people looking up to you and being in amazement of your works, you know, being in amazement of you, you know, as an individual, as a nation, you know, as a greatness, as having the Most High near to us, doing great things. So it says Sem and Seth were in great honor among men, and so was Adam above every living thing in creation. And that's why I said there were giants in the earth in those times, because we were separated from those nations, you know. So because the Lord said that Adam was more beautiful than those trees that were in the garden. Because when you go back, part of the trees in the garden, it wasn't just bearing fruit. Part of the trees in the garden were the other nations that were in there, and the wicked that were in there. But the trees that the Lord chose of that chosen line of Adam were more radiant, more beautiful, they stood out more than the other nations. And it is so this day. All you got to do is look at Israel, you know, and look at the greatness. Even though we're in a low state, excuse me, even though we're in a low state, we still are better than these other nations. All right, so the Lord said that he exalted Adam above every living thing in creation. So when Adam started falling and the chosen line started falling, that's what it meant by the giant. There were giants in the earth. This is 2 Ezra 7 and 10. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. That's why men are less of stature, you know. That's why men are not strong as they used to be, you know, so on and so forth. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrance of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. See, because we were immortal back then. I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else, when it was given him, to have restrained him from sinning. See, and Ezra really didn't understand that the Most High had a purpose, you know, and that's the reason why he allowed Adam to go off, because he had a purpose. You know, he had to teach us the good and the evil. He had to teach us good and bad, so that when we get set back up into power, we'll be able to judge, not just based off of knowing something, but actually living it and going through it. So we will be better judges because we'll know both good and bad, and we've actually lived it.